Hi there and welcome back to the channel. I'm Mike and I'm excited to share another Divi tutorial with you. My goal here is to make learning Divi as straightforward as possible. Today we're going to see how to work with modules and to see how they display on various devices. This is following a question that I got on one of my videos where they show us that one of the great benefits of Divi is that you get access to all of these layouts. And these layouts look really cool as you can scroll through them. But oftentimes there are certain things that maybe don't work as great on different devices. Basically, they don't suit everybody's taste. So one of those things now is like if I go and I view this on a tablet, if we scroll through, let's go from the top again, it looks quite cool and it's going well and everything until you reach this section over here. And then there's like this long image as you're scrolling on it before you get to the next set of information in the page. Now, for some people who are very visually stimulated, they might be like, oh, this looks really cool. But for those people who are perhaps trying to get more of the actual information across, this is like a lot of wasted space that you have to scroll past in order to get to the actual meat and potatoes of the website. So what are the options that you have here? What can be done? Well, if you like this kind of effect, fantastic. You don't no longer need to watch this video. But for those of you who do not like this kind and want to take care of this, for me, there's two things you can do. One is you can resize this image only on tablets or mobile, whichever it is. I mean, let's have a look on mobile and see. If we look there, we scroll down. Scroll down. Actually on mobile, it's not so bad because it's almost the same size as the call to action just below it. Okay, so mobile is not an issue on this particular one. So let's go back to our tablet and we see, okay, what can be done? So there's two things. One, we can either resize this and show it at a different height, or two, we can remove it. That whenever we view it on tablet, then it will not display. So let's see how can we do that. So we're just going to click into it over here. You can see I'm already at it. And so if I click on the module itself and I come to the side here, now if you are in Divi 5, which I'm in, it's quite easy to get between the different devices by just clicking at the top here. So I'm going into tablet mode. You can see when I click on that, it changes it over here. So that means now any settings that are done anywhere in the sidebar here is going to only be affecting my tablet view. No longer do I click on individual settings. Okay, so let's jump into design and let's go to sizing. Now in sizing, I want to set a maximum height, and this maximum height maybe is 500. It already makes it smaller. But now what happens is when it makes it smaller like that, it also halvens the size here. So you lose quite a lot of the synergy, if we can put it that way, and it's broken. So if we can take it like that, and we see we want to keep, let's force full width, and then we give it a max height and see what happens. Okay, so that works a little bit better, but then it gives you this squished effect, right? So let's make this a little bit bigger and see if that helps. All right, so that's one option that you could probably consider, is you can play around with force-filling width so that you can still keep the same width as what your call to action is, and then just play around with the maximum height for this so that it doesn't overdo your call to action. Okay, so that is the one way that you can do. The other way that you can do it is if I jump back into my desktop view, and I'm still in this module over here, but I go to advanced, and in advanced I go to visibility and I say on tablet I don't want this to be displayed. All right, so I save that and I jump into the front end of that. Okay, so if I scroll down now, you see that is no longer being displayed. So it still gives this cool effect of this here. The call to action is still nice and brightly lit and I can see everything going. It just removed that one thing. So for me, as if I was doing this design, this is probably the option I would take. Or what I would do is I would add in another image here. So how can we add in another image is also similar to it, is we go to content, and you can see again, if I change this to tablet, I can then go in and I can change this image. So let's say this image, I now want to display, I've got so many images here. Let's say this image here. I'm not sure how big that is, but it looks like it might work. Okay, upload the image. There we go. All right. So if I save this now, and I go back into the front end, and let's just refresh this. And you can see there's the image that we have. Still got the cool effect, that sliding effect. But if I go into inspect, and I go into my tablet view, it's still going to display this because we have not turned it off over here. All right, so let's just jump back into desktop and take that off and say save draft. And then we go refresh again. And as that refreshes, it changes the image to this image over here. And we can continue scrolling on. All right, so I said there was 2 options, but actually there's 3. So 1 is you can resize the original image. 2 is you can set the image to be hidden so that it will not display on tablets. And 3 is your final option, is you actually just swap out the image and you put in an image that you'd prefer that doesn't have such long length. All right, so that's how I would do it on this particular one. There was another one highlighted, and that was on the layout that I usually enjoy using for my tutorials because I quite like the look and feel of it, and that is on the finance one. So this one is all cool. If you scroll through it like this, it really punches and it looks nice. But one of the people brought it up is that, let's just save this and then preview. So I'm just going to close these 2. And we go into the tablet. So if we scroll into the tablet here, it goes, looks nice, and we go down. Then you start getting this, and on some of the devices, this one can also appear quite long, right? So if we go iPad Air, let's go iPad Mini, you can see it feels like it can be quite long. So it's a similar kind of thing as what we did with the tennis website, is we have the 3 options. The first option is that we come in here and we try to resize it. So the sizing that we see there is because of this image over here. So if we really want to bring this and make it smaller, we need to do something with this image. So if we come in here, we jump into that image and we say maximum height, let's say 400. What is a good start to play with? Oh, but we want to be in tablet. Okay, so once we're in tablet, then we say maximum height. Okay, and then it's going to shoot down there. You can see it already made it smaller. We've got module alignment to the center already, but it doesn't look like it's centering there. But no worries. We just want to see if it's going to work, if it helps with the sizing. So let's go in here. Let's hit it over here. And you can see it's already made it smaller. All right, it's now quite small. What if we say, go back to desktop. We're still in this image. We go to advanced and we say visibility. We don't want this image to show on tablet. So save draft. Let's jump in here and we hit refresh and it's gone. And you can see it's even much smaller. All right. And then the third option we have is, remember, can you remember? is to change the image, right? So if we jump in again to the, and we find it, there it is there, select it, take off this tablet one here, go into content, and we say on tablets, we want this image to be, I don't know, how big is that image? Let's have a look. Height. Oh, it's quite huge. Okay, let's have a look. Let's go with this image and see. Upload an image. Doesn't really look so great. Alignment, let's put it to the center. Yeah, that doesn't work. So let's go look for something else. What about this one? Okay, let's go have a look. Upload image. Okay, that could work. We could always just change the colors if need be through the filter. But yeah, that could work. So let's save that. Let's go see what that's like on the front end. Okay, this one's still reading from the previous one. Tablet, okay. Let's change this to iPad Air. Did we change it? Yes, we did. Save draft. And preview. Okay, I'm not quite sure why it's not working right now. It might be because of the way that I named things before, so it might be the page itself. Let's just try a different image quickly. Okay, that one's working. Alright, so you basically can also just change out the image and find an image that's better suited and keeps it to the size that you want it. I know this looks terrible right now because I didn't have the exact image that would work quite well. Because I actually only remembered that I could do that when I was busy starting to create this video. So yeah, you have the three options. Can you remember them? The first one is to resize the height. Alright. The second one is to remove it by going and setting it to visibility not supported or to hide it on tablet. And then the third one is just to swap out the image itself and change it for an image that better suits your preferred styling. But yeah, I think that would be the best ways to do it. And it really depends on your design itself. So while I say it's great and it's fantastic that we have all of these layouts at our disposal and it comes free with your Divi subscription, there is the element that it's best to go through each look and feel on every device to ensure that you are happy with how it is viewed on each device. And if you're not happy, like in this case where it goes too long in one of the devices, just jump into the actual image itself and do one of those three things, and you should be able to easily get it to a design that you like. So that's basically how you can troubleshoot all of these different modules on different displays on various devices. And I really hope you found it helpful and that it makes a difference for you. And if you did, please hit that like button to let me know, because it truly helps motivate me to continue making content. I'm constantly still learning about Divi, and I love to share the tips and tricks that I learn. So be sure to subscribe to join me on this journey and ensure you don't miss out on what's coming up next. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.